Hey everyone, and welcome back. This is episode 2 of the Cripple Cast. I'm your host, Lionel Seward. Most of you know me, of course, but I finally decided let's come back and do an episode 2. It's been a long time since we did episode 1. You know, the Halloween season has come and gone, and things have changed a little bit. As most of you know, I've kind of gotten hurt, which is, I'm healing up well. Of course, I couldn't record much, being that I had been on the mend for quite a while and it was difficult for me to do things for quite some time. I'm out of hockey for the rest of the season, or at least most of it, unfortunately. So we're taking that as it comes, and we'll see where we go from there. But other than that, small life update, let's get on with our regularly scheduled content. I appreciate that everyone showed so much interest in the first episode, might I add, and of course, we're hoping that there's going to be more coming out on a more regular basis. Everything just kind of got reshuffled and had to be dealt with when it came up. So let's get on with it. And I think it's appropriate that we begin with saying the Phoenix Suns owner, Robert Sarver, is currently under investigation by the NBA after claims of racism and sexism came out. Of course, this isn't the first time we've seen owners potentially under investigation and then be ousted for similar events. Donald Sterling, of course, as everyone knows, was ousted from the Clippers and banned for life from the NBA, which was a long time coming, and I think well deserved, as he just Donald Sterling is Donald Sterling is Donald Sterling. But we'll see how things dish out here with Robert Sarver. Of course, Phoenix just made the finals last year, and we'll see if they end up having to make an ownership change, how that's going to shake up the team in regards to coaching, players, everything. Because, I mean, that boils down from the top, basically, is like once you change an owner, anything can happen, basically. And speaking of roster changes, of course, we all know now that Jack Eichel is officially out of Buffalo, for better or for worse. Of course, we covered in the first episode that he was stripped of his captaincy. And that shows you just how long it's been since I recorded the first and second episode. There was what I'm going to refer to as a lost episode that I may release at some other point, but I had a script written all about cryptids and stuff, and if that's something you guys are interested in, of course, we'll be able to release that and have that out there on the market as well. But back to Jack Eichel, he's gone. He's in Vegas now, and of course, Calgary was in the rumors for a long time, but honestly, I didn't see it happening. Jack Eichel obviously sick of losing, and Calgary doesn't seem to have much consistency. And with what we were giving up in Kachuk and a bunch of other stuff, I don't think it would have been worth it, especially being that Eichel has to go for neck surgery, and he could potentially be a team chemistry issue, being that he's been so on the shelf in regards to wanting to play anywhere and kind of being a team player. So, yeah, I think Calgary might have dodged a bullet in the Jack Eichel situation, because really, who knows how long he's going to last in Vegas if he continues to have attitude issues and plus injury issues. Jack Eichel could be the next player that was a star and then just gets tossed around the league because he just has constant problems. And honestly, I'm not taking that card off the table yet. We'll see how it goes in Vegas, though. I wish him the best. And recently here, we also heard in the NBA that Kyle Lowry is dealing with a sprained ankle, and we'll see how that goes for him. You know, being an aging guard in the league, this could be a challenge for him. I know it's just a sprained ankle, but something like that could spiral into something worse. And I know Canadian fans love Lowry. Obviously, he spent the majority of his career with the Raptors, and we all love him. But he's with the Heat now, and he's, of course, sprained his ankle after a charge call against the Celtics. And that whole situation, of course, he hopped off the court, went immediately to the locker room, and the Heat announced he would not return, which he evidently did not. And we're all just kind of waiting to see if this becomes anything more for Lowry as he suits up down south in Miami over the coming season. So we'll see if Lowry can bounce back from that and be his old self again, or if this is the path to the twilight of his career for him. I wish him the best. And, while we're still in the NBA and out east, I figured we should talk about the current situation with the number one overall pick, Cade Cunningham, hot prospect coming into the league, but through his first 3 games, it's his shooting has been less than terrific, honestly, less than poor. Some places are reporting, and it's been kind of proven, that he's off to the worst shooting start of any number one overall pick in the last 50 years, which is rough for Cade Cunningham. My God, from being, of course there's that pressure, being the number one overall pick of any draft's going to be like that. Heck, even like a top 5, top 10 pick's going to get that. But being the number one overall pick and then ice cold shooting in basketball for your first 3 games, that's got to be rough on him. But here's hoping he can bounce back and hope that he gets a little bit more out of his game in the next few. I'm kind of with Detroit fans on this one and hoping that things tend to work out. No one likes to see a first overall pick kind of destroy themselves and their credibility right off the bat. And Cade Cunningham, if he continues this way, is on his way to doing that. So, at least in my opinion, we'll see how that goes. And in other NBA news, of course, the Lakers and LeBron James down a man. Of course, that man is LeBron James. Went and hurt himself already this season. Not a good look for the old head Lakers. The purple and old, as some people are calling them, which, as a Lakers fan, I don't know how to feel right now. I'm a little worried. Of course, Carmelo's off to a hot start, which is always nice, but, your star player like LeBron, who's spent these years building the team around himself, obviously, and kind of blowing up our young talent core so soon after winning a chip is a little rough. And of course, Kuzma and Caruso are off doing their thing in the Eastern Conference, and Caruso on the Bulls is having a blast, I guess. The Bulls are doing outstanding over there in the East. It just seems like once players get out of LeBron's shadow, it kind of just goes well for them, which I can kind of understand. The pressure of playing with someone like LeBron is probably mounting and hard to deal with for young talent, hence why he wanted older talent that can kind of deal with sharing the spotlight a little bit and perhaps giving him the ball more often. And as we know in other news, Spalding's out, Wilson's in for the NBA's official game balls this season, and for potentially the foreseeable future. Of course, we have players now complaining about the Wilson branded basketballs, saying that it's causing them shooting issues with the way that the balls are made. Last time we heard something like this was in 2006 with the Spalding cross-traction basketball, when they completely changed that iconic look and went with a cheaper material because they couldn't get their hands on the regular leather they used to use. And of course, there was the whole paper cut like wounds on players' hands during that situation. And when the ball got wet, it became extremely slippery and hard to deal with. And players basically said they hated it, and it only lasted 1 season. And Spalding even offered refunds on any cross-traction ball merchandise that fans had bought, which that's basically an not really important footnote in NBA history, but it's there, and I'm sure some fans of a certain age are going to remember that. So there's that aspect that we could see with these Wilson basketballs. I wasn't really expecting this to be a major factor, but here we are now. And over in entertainment news, of course, Kanye West is now saying he wants Kim Kardashian back after, of course, we've heard the Pete Davidson rumors. If you're in a certain interest group of people, if you're interested in certain things, you would have heard that by now. But he's basically saying he's never seen divorce papers and thus wants to get back with Kim Kardashian. And we'll see how long this lasts, if it's just Kanye trying to make another dive into the spotlight. And Slipknot has just released their first new music of 2021. And of course, the last time I think I remember talking about Slipknot in a recent context was when Machine Gun Kelly went after them, basically saying, at least I'm not 50 and wearing a mask. And it didn't really end well for Machine Gun Kelly. And honestly, I'm not much to say things. And maybe he's kept his mouth shut. I haven't really checked. But he needs to learn to keep his mouth shut. Just if he wants to stay in the music game. Because he already went after Eminem once. Left the rap genre completely. And managed to somehow still say semi-relevant. Of course, the drama is helping his relevancy in some way, and maybe that's what he's thinking he's doing, is staying relevant by going after Slipknot. I mean, I don't really have much more of a comment than that. Machine Gun Kelly seems to be struggling for relevancy, which, yeah, there's that. And in more local sort of news, Canadian news, I kind of have to take a moment here to talk about what happened yesterday in Saskatoon when a moose decided to crash through a window of a classroom during a lecture. Unfortunately, one student has sustained minor injuries but seems to be doing all right. And of course, classes continued as normal after the moose was removed. Which is honestly, people say we deal with a lot of moose here in Canada, and this isn't really helping the stereotype. We had a moose crash through a classroom window during the middle of the day. Can you believe it? And I think that pretty much does it here for this episode of the Cripplecast. Thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in. I'm sorry for the gap between episodes. I'm going to try and shrink that down, of course, just depending on how my scheduling goes with school and everything. But I had a lot of fun recording this one, just like I did with the first one, and here's hoping that the third episode is not too far around the corner, and should be, of course, out to the audience before you know it. Thanks again so much, everyone, and I'll see you all next time.